Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It's a Monday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida, right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go swing by the good folks, see the good folks at International Diamond Center. Today's show, we'll have JC, then we'll have Jason Higdon from First and 10 Florida. He's got some specials going on his site. He'll give us his thoughts on the upcoming season, a little recruiting news, all that good stuff that he covers. Let's go straight to the Titan MR Highline. We're joined by JC. JC, did you watch some golf?
Yeah, I did. But once Scotty kind of separated himself from the
clinic, he put on a clinic yesterday.
Yeah, that's the Scotty we haven't watched a whole lot of this year.
Do you know this, JC?
What's that?
This is the best year he's had since he's been on tour, statistically.
Well, I guess maybe that's true, but I would say if you asked him, he would want a major before he could say that. And he's come close in so many tournaments. I think he's finished in second place. I mean, you can count at least on two hands how many times he's finished in second place this year. But he's won 3 times. So, I mean, that's an extraordinary accomplishment. And
I thought he only won twice this year.
Well, he won the AT&T. He won the I think he won in I want to say in Fort Worth, maybe not, but I want to say that. And then of course yesterday, but I think he's won twice before this weekend. So this would be his third. I mean, it's easy to look up, but I would just say that's probably I'm pretty sure, I'm about 88% sure he's won 3 times. I know it was he won the tournament at Pebble Beach. I think that was the American Express. Then I think he won a tournament in Texas, but maybe I'm mistaken. But I want to say it's been 3 times. I'm going to take over 2.5 wins. So far.
I'm going to look it up while we're talking about it.
Yeah, well,
so Zach put up there. I know. I think I beat your boat again in picks this week, JC. The picks.
Well, yeah, that's very possible. But you had Sam Burns. That was going to be my first pick, but you took him first. And Cameron Young
has 2 wins this year, JC.
Just 2?
Just 2. The American Express in January.
Okay.
Whatever that is. And
so much for my 88% then.
Yes, you're terrible. And then the FedEx yesterday.
Where did you see that, QB?
Google told me.
Oh. Well, so there's been a lot. Why? Okay, I guess I don't know why I thought it was twice before. But regardless, I think he would tell you that for him to say this was a banner year, it would have to include a major. But whatever, he's number 1 ranked in the world. This thing with the FedEx Cup, whatever you want to call it, it just comes down to who wins the last week. And one tournament, 4 rounds, you're going to say that he's the tour champion for the year? I mean, to me, it just seems like he's the tournament champion for that weekend. Because the tour champion for the year, to me, would have to be a lot more than just 3 straight tournaments in August. But that's how they do it. That's the way it is. Liv is about to go bankrupt. Not bankrupt, but bankrupt, basically, because the Saudis are out. So they're scrambling to find money. So that means that at some point we'll hear John Rahm make his way back, and Bryson DeChambeau will start to make his way back, and maybe some of these golfers that we've forgotten about. But some of the guys who entered Liv here recently are really going to be in a pickle because I think you're going to have to requalify to get back on the PGA Tour. Absolutely have to requalify.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. UF Gators on YouTube brought to you by Quad Plum says, who should be the PGA Tour Player of the Year? Scotty's going to win it. I thought maybe Matt Fitzpatrick. I think he's got 3 or 4 wins. But I think Scotty's going to be the Player of the Year.
Well, they're counting all of the rounds, all the tournaments he didn't win that he was
Yeah.
in the top five. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, just
Speaking
think
of
about
that,
top five. Top
speaking
five
of
is great.
golf, let's get to this day of sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life at Campus USA Credit Union. Of course, here it is right here. I got to find it. This right here, JC, shows you, we
Yeah.
love golf. I know a lot of people don't like to talk golf,
Why do you think that
but
is?
in 2003 at the PGA Championship at Oak Hill Country Club, this tells
Okay.
you, in my opinion, the difference of the tour in the 2000s, the late 90s, early 2000s to how it is now.
Okay.
Sean McKeel wins his
Oh,
lone major title, and he beat Chad Campbell.
Campbell, golly. I remember both of those guys.
Well, you do because, but the tour is so much more competitive now than it was back then.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
even close.
the golfers are great. I think, back in the day when Tiger played, he won so much. He won so many, I should say. And we
I don't
kind
think
of
he's
put,
beating very good players though.
well, okay, whatever the case may be, he usually blew out people and won tournaments pretty handily. But we forget about all the guys that were playing, top five, top 10 back then too. But it does
You know,
feel
it's
like,
Rocco Mediate and people like that.
well, Rocco, okay. But I'd have to really think about it, I think. But
Yeah,
I
you go back and think about that after the show. All right,
that's
real quick,
exactly what
Jake,
I'm going to do.
Barone asked this question on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumber. I have no idea what he's doing, asking, but maybe you do, JC.
Well,
He says, QB, I listened to Ray Lewis talk about, quote, tails every QB had, including Peyton Manning and Brady. What would you say some of your, quote, tails, and or did any coaches ever say you had some? I don't know what tails are.
he's saying, how did you
TLS.
how did you telegraph what you were about to do?
Oh, I don't know.
See,
Nobody ever told me
defensive
anything.
players look at tendencies of what these
I
offensive.
agree, but I was never told by any opponents or any
Mhm.
coaches.
Yeah,
So hell, I didn't play as much as them either. So there you go.
that's true. But you were on a roster, thank God.
Yeah.
Did you guys, Michael Schneider, the great one, 86-56, the great Michael Schneider, did you guys know during fall camp before the 90 season that you were going to be a great team, or did it actually take an actual game or so to play before you knew? That's an interesting question.
It's a great question. I mean, we set goals. Coach Spurrier, all his teams put goals up there. We put a goal up to win the SEC.
Yeah,
People probably thought it was silly. I I don't know if you have a great team till you start playing games.
yeah, that's what I would think. Yeah, because nobody knew who you were before you got the
Right.
job.
That's why I don't buy into this guy needs experience. You either know how to play or you don't.
Well, and it helped to have that connection you had with your coach. Some guys just don't, oil and water with some others. But yeah, it really did. When you guys have a meeting of the minds, it really is great for a coach to have a quarterback out there whose brain is essentially tied into his if he's calling plays, right? Doesn't that make sense? I mean, doesn't it make sense that you guys would be on the same page literally before plays even start? You could
Well,
have,
as long as the guy under center or behind center understands what the coach or the guy calling the plays is trying to do. That is the key.
yeah.
And then, as I say always, I'm in favor of execution after the play is called.
That'd be a great idea.
That's a
It's
great,
highly recommended.
yes.
Highly, highly, highly recommended. I mean, this is a great time of year. It's August the 17th now. 2 weeks. We're there. We're in game week here. I mean, good. I'm glad. And I still say to this day, thank God for the World Cup of Soccer that really helped bridge the slow months as we got into. Otherwise, you'd be listening to me talk about baseball and I'd be putting you to sleep the whole show.
Speaking of that, Tommy John passed away.
Yeah.
Um,
He's a good Yankee, good Dodger.
yeah.
Had a
Well, gold and
surgery
silver
named after him.
investors find out what makes Gator-owned money metals different from other coin companies that often resort to high-pressure sales tactics, not at Money Metals. For more information, visit moneymetals.com. Give them a call at 1-800-800-1865. We got a text here on the Titan Mark text line, JC.
Mm-hmm.
Comes from Will. Will wants to know, have you guys been watching any preseason football? Has anyone impressed you?
I think some of the quarterback play is surprising. Not that, it's been overly challenging because of the way the defenses are so vanilla right now. But I do think you've seen some guys that seem to have a grip of what's going on. I thought Ty Simpson over the weekend was extraordinary.
I watched. Yeah, I guess that was on TV, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Yeah, it
on. It
was.
was on.
I watched a little bit of it. I thought he was in complete control of what he was doing, man.
Yeah,
I liked him in Alabama.
you like him?
He played his tail off in the game y'all
Did
lost against Florida State,
he did? He
and
played his tail off all year.
he's got a
He had
chance,
he had
especially with
no.
Sean McVay.
Yeah, well, Sean McVay was probably shocked when Les Snead picked him for my glorious Rams. But, Ty Simpson's a guy that had no run support all year. They and I think Oklahoma were the two worst running teams maybe in the country last year. So Ty Simpson did a lot with less than some of the guys before him. Let's just say Eddie Lacy wasn't back there. Neither was Najee Harris and Sean Alexander and Damian Harris and Mark. Yeah, so Mark Ingram. So I just think that Ty Simpson was one of the surprises. I think some of these other quarterbacks. I think you could throw in the guy at Arizona, Carson Beck. Just a couple of other good performances in some of these preseasons. So that's what I've taken away from preseason.
Speaking of the Rams, I saw this morning. Did you know Aaron Donald has worked out twice for the Rams?
Yeah, yeah, I have. I have
Holy
known that.
smokes!
I've known that. I've known that.
You got an inside scoop on that, Jason?
Even if he is half as good as he was, or even a third as good as he was before, that starts on most other teams, and that's how great he played. And he's been gone for 4 years, maybe.
Wow.
So Myles Garrett on the edge. The linebackers are solid. Fisk is going to be good. They've got McDuffie and the other guy from Kansas City in the back end. The Rams are going to be a tough. So, Kimmy, you've traveled. You went to Osaka, Japan. You know what it's all about, going on the other side of the world. The Rams are going to go to Australia to play the 49ers in the first week of the season.
In a real game?
In a real game.
Ooh.
On the day before the game. The 49ers are going to Australia a week before. Now, who's making a mistake here? Is it the Rams or the 49ers?
I'll let you know after the game.
Thanks, QB.
Sometimes it's like you want to get over there, get acclimated to the time change, all that stuff. And then sometimes it's like, why don't
all
we
adrenaline
time over there?
Yeah.
Let's fly in.
Do it and get out.
These are pros. They can figure out how to get rest. They'll have all the nutritionist staff and all that. I did not realize that they're only going to fly in the day before, like a regular game.
The day before, like a regular game, and leave immediately after the shower.
Good for them.
That's what they're going to do, and I hope that the world being on a different time there, when night should be day and day should be night, doesn't screw them. I think they're going to be playing off adrenaline anyway. It is the 49ers. That's their biggest rival.
I'm sure they've done a lot of research on it.
Well, look, I'm high on the Rams this year. Their total is 11.5. That puts them at 12 wins, and many people think that's too low. So we'll see. They play in the best division. I think the 49ers and the Seahawks and the Rams present the three best teams of any other division. The NFC North, I think, with the Bears, Vikings, Packers, and Lions is going to be highly competitive, very difficult. And then you've got a bunch of also ran divisions. Actually, I think the NFC South could be very competitive with Carolina, Atlanta, New Orleans, and Tampa, but I don't think those teams will be that great. But they'll be very competitive in that division. Last year, a team won it with an 8-9 record. That was Carolina. So, that NFC West and NFC North are going to be real juggernaut divisions, if you ask me. I mean, preseason.
Daryl says on the Titan More text line, says, good morning. I guess nothing exciting came out of the scrimmage this weekend. High school football kicks off Friday night. JC, come over to Green Cove and run the chains for the Blue Devils.
Blue Devil country, baby.
They did have a scrimmage, but I wasn't there. I was out of town. And you haven't heard one single thing about that scrimmage from anybody.
No.
Anywhere.
No, here's all I care about, QB. I'm going to let the coaches take care of what they're actually doing and what they're supposed to do. I just don't want to hear about anybody's knee getting blown to bits. I don't want to hear anybody breaking a collarbone, dislocating a shoulder, knee injury, any of that. As long as everybody's healthy through these practices and these scrimmages, then that's all I need to know. We'll see your presentation on September the 5th.
Yeah. So I know that I don't know anything that happened because I was not there.
I mean,
If I was there, I wouldn't say anything.
So let me ask you this, QB. If let's say I went, okay, and I saw it and I said, oh boy, Eric Singleton caught a great pass. Okay, he caught a great pass and he made a move on a defensive back and he went into the corner of the end zone. And, Trammell just threw some incredible passes. What would that actually mean to you as a viewer if I told you that right now on August the 17th?
Well, me as a regular fan, I may like to hear that. As a former player, I does nothing for me.
So as a former player, telling the regular fan it does nothing for you, shouldn't the regular
fan? Because more goes into it than the one play you just described, right?
Sure. Yeah, no, I'm just saying that's
I say this all the time. And we use quarterback play because that's what everybody wants to talk about. JC, would you talk about the play that Trammell stepped up, avoided the blindside pressure, and dumped it off to Jaden Ball for a 3-yard gain to avoid a sack?
No.
Okay, but that's a damn good football play.
Sure, but that's not really what they're asking, is it? They want to know if anything exciting happened.
Well, that's an exciting play to me because instead of a sack fumble, scoop and score the other way, the quarterback, whoever it may be, avoided the rush and dumped it off for the check down, and we still have possession and moving the chains.
And that's why I'm all about.
That's why you don't open stuff up to the general public.
Well, or that's also why I would basically say let's let them figure it out. As long as everybody's walking off that field healthy, I'm good. That's it. Yeah. That's it. And I totally agree with what you said. I mean those are the things, third down and long situations, 2-minute drills, all those little items that are worked on matter so much, as opposed to, wow, man, that was a hell of a post play and what a wheel route they ran down there in the corner. Oh my God. But again, it's just practice and it's scrimmage and it's this and it's that. And I really love that fans want to hear that. But the truth is that just stay healthy is what matters most right now. Mm-hmm. Because these guys are football players. They know what they're doing. They've been playing football since they're 5 years old, QB. I mean, this has been going on for their whole life, right? I mean, isn't that right? And most of them have been playing football their whole life. Yeah, they've been playing football their whole life. All of this stuff happens. It happens every year prior to the season. We all know the same old things that go on through practice, and it's pretty much the same everywhere. And then when we get to Saturday, when the game starts, then we start to see, wow, how prepared is this team? How good are they going to actually look going into the following week? And then before you know it, it's already week 6. So I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to put a damper on practice questions, but man, I don't know really what you get out of it.
Yeah, Nat says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, Summerall will tell us about the scrimmage at the press conference today.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Right. Oh, we hit. Well, got a little banged up, but we're fine.
Yeah, I say there's some good things we saw. The never as bad as you think, or
as good as
typical coach speak. LKLD on YouTube, brought by Claude Plum, says, how intense were the preseason practices, and do you remember a significant loss because of injury? I guess you're asking about my college career. Our practices were not very intense. That's just not Coach Spurrier's style. We just went through our business, and I don't remember. I say this all the time. In my 3 years starting under him, I don't remember anybody getting hurt and missing a game. I don't remember any quarterbacks in the Spurrier era missing a game due to injury. And we took a beating.
Yeah, you did.
But like I said, two of the main, I want to say ingredients, two things characteristics, whatever you want to put them as, the intangibles that Coach Spurrier looks for in his quarterback are mental and physical toughness. If you ain't mentally tough and you ain't physically tough, and when I say physically tough, that doesn't mean try to run 3 linebackers over. That means stand your ass in the pocket with people barreling down at you, deliver the football and take a blow and get driven into the ground by a 300-pounder. That's physical toughness.
By the way, Jackson Dart got drilled in the ground by a blitzing corner the other day.
Better than a 300-pounder.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Oh, DRM says, talk about our damn scrimmage, QB.
I wasn't there. I haven't been to a practice yet. They're practicing right now. I can't. It's a bad time for me.
Yeah, you're sitting in front of palm trees at the break of day.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, man, I just think it's so funny how fans can be. I'm more excited. Well,
Skip wants to know on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon, how much are we going to learn from our first 2 weeks of games? Obviously, FAU will be more of a challenge than the Camels, but you can learn a lot. You can just see if your team knows how to play, right? Do they have a feel? Does whoever the quarterbacks are, do they have a feel of how to run the offense?
yeah,
Are we going to
yeah.
boo them when they miss a throw? They're not going to complete every pass. I'm going to go ahead and go on a limb and say that.
Are we going to boo that?
Are we going to boo Buster when he throws a wide receiver screen? Because you're going to see a bunch of those. I'm just letting you know.
I'm not worried. Well, yeah, there you go. You're right. My season starts for me on it September 19th. But I agree with you there. The first two games can be revealing in many ways. You look at a quarterback and you look at his tendencies with his feet and his arm and all these mechanical things. You still can see if this kid knows what he's doing, if they're playing a lesser opponent, still just by watching how he moves and how he acts and how he looks around and the things he delivers the ball, all that good stuff.
Tony's going to boo the whole FAU game. All right. AMAC asked on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum. Shane, with all the new NFL coaches and staffs, do you think the preseason is more important for the players or the coaches? You got to remember, look, it's football again, right? I tell everybody this. Everybody runs the same defenses. Everybody runs the same plays on offense. It's the terminology. So you as a player have to learn new terminology if you're coming in as a rookie or if you're going to a different team. However, they have multiple mini camps or OTAs, as they like to call them now, organized team activities throughout before the draft and after the draft. And everything nowadays is online. So if you don't know your plays, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question, I don't think it's difficult for either because it's football.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it is either. September 5th's got a Clemson LSU game. Week 0 has an NC State game against somebody. Oh, Georgia Tech, maybe. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out which games I want to watch. The Florida game's at 7, right? That's when the Gators play. 7 o'clock.
So.
Yeah. What do you got? Yeah. Okay.
UF Gators ask, have I done the round table with Dan Hicken from 1010XL? We do that tomorrow, actually.
There you go. Dan Hicken. Yeah. I know Dan.
Can I go on there and just say something very controversial, JC?
Yeah. Well, where would you start it at? Would you start it at the coaching staff or the player level?
I don't know. I couldn't be controversial first.
No, you're not. You're not going to be.
It's me, boring coach, and Dan Hicken.
Yeah. So when you guys are sitting at that round table, are you going to talk?
Ask his questions.
Well, I know. You think he's going to ask you questions about the past or more about? He's going to ask you about both.
Look, we don't talk about the past on this program. Either.
That's good. Okay, now I'm getting somewhere. Okay, good.
Now I'm talking about. Now we can talk about the winning past, but there's no reason to even.
There isn't.
Talk about this person ruined that player. That player ruined this coach, and we wasted this. We waste that. Hell, we don't know. Nobody will ever convince me, and this is the last time I'll say this. If Billy had hired an offense coordinator, I don't know if we'd been any better.
Yeah, I know.
Because I love Will Muschamp. Muschamp had a different coordinator every year, and we sucked on offense. Every year.
I
try to tell people there's only a handful of great play callers in the world. It's a fact.
Yeah. Well, I'm not worried about this team. I'm not. I've got them winning. I've got them winning 8 games, man. And anything above that is just gravy. You get to 9 wins with this schedule, they're going to start talking to you about potentially the CFP. I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but I think they're winning 8. I think they're winning 8 because I think they've got the right leadership intact. And I think that I've been thinking that since the day he was announced. And it's only because of what I've seen him do with lesser situations. And so if you can't do it at Florida, then you can't really do it anywhere. I think you have everything you need to succeed here.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything.
I'm not worried. Trying to pull up Facebook here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't get it. I got to get it on my phone and it keeps.
LKLD is with me, 1996. He says 8 wins. I mean, I'm taking over. I think that's the play. I've got a lot of college football futures out there that I really like. I like Missouri over their 6.5 wins. I like I've got Georgia to reach the of course this is not a stretch, but I'm almost getting 2-1 on Georgia just to reach the SEC championship game. I mean, if you don't bet that, you don't like money. Georgia's got so much coming back. It's really an embarrassment of riches for Georgia. I've got BYU at 2-1 to reach the Big 12 championship game. I've got the Oklahoma Sooners over 7.5 wins. There's a lot to get excited about. I mean, I think there's some great numbers here. First weekend, I've got TCU, FSU, Stanford, and Las Vegas winning games. That we'll talk about that as we get closer to it. That's week 0, as they like to call it. Texas, I've got them to get to the SEC championship game. I think they are loaded. Got Kansas State to have as many wins as Texas A&M. If you look at the schedule, you'll know why. I've got the Penn State Lions to win over 8.5 games. I think that's going to happen. The Huskers of Nebraska to win over 6 games. I think that's going to happen. I think Florida Gators, the Fighting Gators right here, to have if they and Tennessee in a matchup to have as many or more wins than the Tennessee Vols this season. I mean, I'm going to go on and on about this on Thursday, but those are just some things that you can look at right now if you want to throw a little prediction down, backed by hard-earned money to get some odds before the season starts, before we see these games play. Because all we really know is what we've seen from last year and what we hear from the media.
Andy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, Campbell plays Western Carolina the week before they play us. Is there
There you go.
any way Kerwin gets WCU on our schedule? I mean, he'll try to get to payday. I will tell you right now, I bet you Western Carolina scores 50 on them.
What do you think do you know what Campbell's getting to make this ridiculous trip here?
I would think at least $1 million, maybe more.
I would think that. Yeah, I would think that. They need the money if they're going to be serious about football. I mean, most athletic departments lose money nowadays. Did you know that?
Okay, real quick, last question. We get a bunch of this on the Jimmy from the Titan MR text line. Okay. He wants to know our thoughts on Jaden Daniels. I spoke on this the other day. I don't know, maybe it was with Brent Beard was on.
Yeah, you don't like the number thing.
I think it's the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah, the dumbest thing in the world.
You can honor numbers, but retiring them to me is dumb. It's because multiple reasons. Because people eventually, if you retire too many numbers, you ain't going to have enough jersey numbers for your team.
Yeah.
I just think it's silly. I think in today's world, most numbers are worn by 2 different guys on the team.
Yeah.
I thought the best thing Coach Spurrier did was unretire the numbers here. And because I wanted 11. I wore 11 ever since I was a 5-year-old in every sport I played until I came to Florida.
So where did 9 come from? Drew Brees?
No, I'm older than Drew Brees.
I know
Brees wore number 9 because of me, JC.
There you go. That's right.
Just kidding. No, I thought 9 was a unique number because nobody wore it back in those days. Nobody. It was always quarterbacks were number 10, number 12, number 14, 7,
17.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna wear 9.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just think what Jaden Daniels are doing is just silly.
He doesn't need to think about that. He needs to be thinking about how to get through the NFC East because that's going to be tough for him and the Washington team. That's going to be another tough division. Philadelphia, Dallas, I think are pretty equal. I think Dallas has gotten so much better defensively. There's so much to talk about. We've run out of time, but I'll see you tonight at Spurs, and big celebration there. Can't wait to do that, and I'll be back on Wednesday.
All right, that's JC joining us on the Titan MR Hotline. Gallo Car Wash is locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations on Northwest 13th Street, Wilson Road, now open in Jonesville. next to Tioga. We're going to take a quick time out. Come back. We'll be joined by Jason Higdon from First and 10 Florida. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics, Michael Schneider PLLC, Florida Legends Gala and Experience, Money Metals, Sensei Asian Bistro. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Florida Cracker Oyster, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, International Gold and Diamond, Advocare, and MGA&A Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook or YouTube. Listen to podcasts wherever, on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, be sure to call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football.
Let's go. We are the owners of Tropical Distillery, and J.F. Hayden's is our liqueur brand.
We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers
And go Gators.
When the late, great Charlie Daniels would need a place for jewelry he could trust, he turned to International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniels, and I live in Tennessee, but when I get ready to do something serious about jewelry or a gift for my wife or somebody, I always get in touch with the folks at International Gold and Diamond Exchange here in Gainesville. There's a lot of reasons for that. One reason is they sell nothing but the best.
Find out what Charlie was talking about for yourself at International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange at 3440 West University Avenue and online at igdwex.com.
Ever dreamed of catching a touchdown pass from Tim Tebow or Danny Warfel? Or taking a handoff from the legendary Steve Spurrier? Then you need to join the Florida Legends Experience on Sunday, August 23rd. You'll receive a personal video of your touchdown and your football signed by the Gator Heisman winner. Enjoy an unforgettable day of Gator greatness while supporting the incredible mission of the Isaiah 117 House. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at fllegends.com. That's fllegends.com. Don't miss your chance to be part of Gator history.
Gainesville's best-kept secret is finally being revealed. Introducing Sensei Asian Bistro. Located in Celebration Point next to Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, Sensei delivers a one-of-a-kind Japanese-French fusion experience that's as refined as it is unforgettable. Indulge in signature dishes like our smoked New York strip, Chilean sea bass, matcha curry, or the crave-worthy Chunggang chili chicken. Pair it all with handcrafted cocktails, fresh crudo oysters, or our premium A5 Wagyu tataki. Sensei Asian Bistro. Make your reservation today.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Real estate attorney Michael Schneider, UF class of 93 graduate, can help you save thousands of dollars in real estate commissions by assisting you in selling your home or land by owner without a broker. Contact Michael today at 321-345-7870. Back to the Titan MR hotline. We're joined now by Jason Higdon. His website is firstand10florida.com. What's up, Jason? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, good morning, Shane. How you doing this morning?
Doing well. First of all, before we jump into your thoughts on this Gator team and their recruiting class, let everybody know how they can join your site.
Yeah, just firstand10florida.com. We're running a promo right now, 85% off our annual membership for all new members. And, it's exciting times right now, 19 days, 11 hours, 10 minutes, 36 seconds. And we're all going to finally get to see what this product looks like for ourselves.
That's awesome. All right, let's talk before we get into this year. Let's talk about the recruiting class. I know you follow recruiting very closely. You're close to a lot of these players that have committed to the Gators. Give me your overall thoughts of their class for next year.
Yeah, recruiting. We've really seen recruiting, change over the last 5-10 years. It's, for example, Florida has 25 verbal commitments right now. current seniors for the class of 2027, headlined by, a couple of players that I love. In particular, we have them ranked as 5-star guys. Offensive tackle Maxwell Hiller is probably the headliner. But also, I think a guy that's really underrated is Amari Fountain out of Warner Robins, Georgia. I've got him rated as a 5-star corner. This kid is fantastic. He has all the intangibles, the measurables, everything you want in a lockdown, shutdown type of corner. That's kind of what Amari Fountain brings to the table. And he's from the state of Georgia. So, the thing that Coach Summerall has shown is the guy is a polarizing figure. I've compared him a lot to Urban Meyer. I got really close with Urban back in the day. And, Urban had this uncanny knack and ability to, when people got around him, they were mesmerized by him, just being in the same room with him. And Coach Summerall has a lot of those same intangibles where when he speaks, when he talks, when you see him, when you visit with him, he's like a tractor beam. He just kind of sucks you in and pulls you in, and players and parents and coaches and agents and everybody that he comes in contact with, they gravitate towards him. So I think they've done a remarkable job with the 25 or 26 that they have right now for this current class, and they haven't coached one single down. We haven't seen the product on the field. We don't know what the identity of the team is, but yet they're having an uncanny amount of success on the recruiting trail. And it filters down to the 28 guys as well, the kids that just started their sophomore year, or the junior years, excuse me. So I think with the coordinators that he's hired, an offensive coordinator, coach of the year, Coach Faulkner, and, Coach White, an SEC DC coordinator, he's surrounding himself with the kind of coaches that I think we've become accustomed to seeing at the University of Florida that maybe kind of tapered off in recent years. So it's a very exciting time right now, and I'm looking forward to the start of the season in, less than 19 days.
Gary on the Titan MR text line wants to know do the Gators have any concerns with the Hiller kid wanting to visit other SEC schools?
I think that Coach Troutwine's done a fantastic job, and I kind of compare him a little bit to an old school Florida coach that I got really close with, Charlie Strong. And Charlie Strong, if you've ever met him or know him, or if anybody that ever played for him, they'll tell you Charlie Strong is a player's coach. Players love to play for Charlie Strong. Coach Troutwine is the same way. And actually, as luck would have it, a lot of the coaches that Coach Summerall has hired are considered players' coaches. They love to play for these guys. Now, we all know that in today's day with, NIL and, monopoly money being thrown around, anything's possible, anything can happen. But I think they feel really good about the relationship, where they are right now with him, with his deal, what he's agreed to, all those kinds of things. So I can't sit here and say that he's not going to visit some other school, but I would be pretty shocked to see him sign somewhere other than the University of Florida. He's got a great relationship with Coach Troutwine. Coach Troutwine is definitely the guy that, got him to Florida. And as long as Coach Troutwine is down at Florida on the sidelines, then I anticipate that kid's going to be a Gator.
Good deal. Rick from Jupiter on the Titan MR text line says, can you ask Jason if he sees any difference or what he is seeing the difference in the new staff's approach to recruiting from last staff? And does he think we can ever have a top NIL budget?
Yeah, I think, listen, it's very easy for me to sit here and say this staff is just better than last year's staff, right? But everybody's searching for all these answers and, the secret magic sauce and the formula and stuff like that. And sometimes it's just good old fashioned blue collar work ethic, roll up your sleeves and let's get after it. And I'm sure by now, everybody's had a chance to listen to Coach speak. They've seen him at the press conference. They've seen him on ESPN. They've seen him on all these podcasts. They've seen him making these tours and stuff. And when you talk to him and you see him talk, he wears his emotions on his sleeves, right? Players love that. They love this guy. They're drawn to him. They want to play for him. I just think that his mentality, his mindset has kind of trickled down through the rest of the staff and the rest of the team, whereas maybe we didn't really see that. The last staff seemed to be a little bit more, timely and reserved in their approach. And there wasn't really a fire lit there from time to time. And I think the difference is there's a real fire now down in Gainesville, and the flame is burning, and it's burning high. So these guys are ready to get after it, and they're energetic, and it just spreads. So I think the biggest difference between that staff and this staff is just the energy, the passion, the fire. I know it seems cliche, but I really think that's the biggest difference.
When you look at this year's team, obviously we'll be playing a game in whatever you said, 19 days or what have you. What do you like about this team?
I like a lot about this team, Shane. I mean, I love the skill position. I love a guy like Eric Singleton, who, I think is going to lead the team in receptions and yards and maybe even touchdowns. I love Dallas Wilson. I love Jaden Ball. I love Philo and Verdell Brown. The skill position, I think, has a chance to be as good as what we've seen in years past, or excuse me, a lot better than what we've seen in years past. I love the running back situation. Everybody loves Jaden Ball. He's getting first team All-American honors and votes and, things like that. One guy to keep an eye on, I think, might be, Montgomery. A lot of people talk about Evan Pryor and Duke Clark, but London Montgomery, I think, has a real chance to maybe kind of solidify himself in that number 2 role, which I think would be a little surprising to most fans. What I don't like is inexperience at the 2 biggest positions on the entire roster, quarterback and offensive line. Now, when you look at offensive line, initially you'll say, hey, they got a lot of experience. They have a lot of experience from guys that started and played on a team that went 4-8, and the offense was ranked 9th in the country. So, quarterback, I love Jones. I love Philo. I certainly believe Philo is going to be the guy, no doubt about it, when they, trot out there and play in, 3 weeks against FAU. But Jones is a capable guy also. So, the question marks to me are offensive line and quarterback, obviously, the 2 most important positions on the field. And I think a telltale sign for me is going to be when we show up and line up against FAU, there's a real possibility that 4 of the 5 starting offensive linemen were not on this roster last year. And if that's actually the case, that speaks volumes to where the talent level was, and it speaks volumes to where the new coaching staff thinks and believes where the talent was last year, which was really subpar. I mean, you look at left tackle, you could see Egan Boyer be the starter, center Harrison Moore. You could actually see TJ Shanahan at right guard, and Emeka Ugorji could be the starting right tackle. So if only Najee Harris is a returning starter, 1 out of 5 guys, I mean, that's a pretty big indication of what the staff feels about where the talent level was. Caden Jones is in the mix, maybe at right tackle. Bryce Lovett could be in the mix at right guard. I think a lot of people think Lovett's going to win the job, but, keep an eye on TJ Shanahan. So there's a lot to be happy about. The defensive line has a lot of depth. Just at D tackle with McLeod and Lyons and Mbachu, there's 3 guys right there. Any one of those guys could start. So, someone to keep an eye on, I think, could be Brendan Bett in the middle. I think he's poised for a real big year. So there's a lot to like about this team, but there's still so many unknowns. I mean, you take a poll from Florida fans right now, they'll compare the production of Dallas Wilson basically in the same category as a guy like Jeremiah Smith. And it's kind of crazy when you really think about it and you look at the numbers. Dallas Wilson in his career at the University of Florida has played in 4 games. He has 12 catches, 177 yards, and he has 3 touchdowns. And he's tied for the most receiving touchdowns on the team with 2 other guys, Sturdivant and Wilson from last year. Now, if you break it all down and go a step further, people will say, yeah, that's true. He ran into injury, but when he was healthy, what did he do? He set program records for freshmen with yards, 111, catches 6, and TDs 2 against Texas, and Florida's biggest win of the year last year. I mean, quite honestly, looking back on it now, I don't even know how they beat Texas, right? So they have guys, and they certainly have an opportunity to put up some, I think, relatively big numbers, especially when you compare them to last season. But there's still a lot of unknowns heading into the year.
When you look at the defense, I love our linebacking core. And I feel like for Florida to have the year they want to have, Jaden Woods needs to be that disruptor. But don't you think LJ McCray has to live up to all the hype from a few years ago when he came out of high school?
He does, and he's a guy that I think has really transitioned. He's really bought in. He's transformed his body. I mean, the guy already looked like Superman, and now people are saying this is the best he's ever looked. He's certainly, I'm going to have him penciled in at defensive end, strong side defensive end, opposite a guy like Jaden Woods. And, Jaden Woods got big money to come back to Florida. A lot of people thought that guy was going to leave and he was going to go to Texas. And, Florida upped the ante. They ponied up, thanks to some of the big name boosters. Jaden Woods, I think, has a lot of pressure on him. He needs to really go out and produce for the kind of money that he's getting paid. LJ McCray, I think, is the guy that's going to lead this team in sacks. So I'm looking for a big year for McCray. And like you said, I love Jaden Robinson. I love Miles Graham. I love Aaron Childs. I love the linebacking core. But 2 guys to keep an eye on that are, sophomores, Miles Johnson and Ty Jackson, that Florida fans haven't really had a chance to see. I think those guys are going to get a lot of time, and I really feel like finally now we have a lot of depth across all three spots of the linebacker position.
What do you think about the secondary?
You know, wow. I mean, the secondary last year was kind of a hot mess, but now you look at it, and I think the one guy that did bring some stability, he did have a consistency about the way he played. Bryce Thornton, he's back, he'll start. They went out and get a guy like DJ Coleman, who's a senior. Cam Dooley, they got, who's a junior. So I think those guys have a real chance, but really I think, the bigger story has been Kermani McClain. Kermani McClain had a great scrimmage on Saturday. He's added some weight. I think Coach Witt has done a remarkable job with these guys, and they're finally on par. I'm not going to say they're past Alabama and they're past Texas or Georgia, but now I think strength-wise they're finally on par with some of these other SEC teams. So, I think the secondary has a chance to be good, and I think Kermani McClain has a real chance to be good. And I also like another new addition, Kanye Clark at Star. We've gotten rave reviews about him and the job that he's done. So really, it doesn't matter if you're on offense or defense. A lot of the guys that are doing a lot of things that people are expecting, they're new guys. Now, we're going to have some old guys, Rennell Brown, Dallas Wilson, Jaden Ball, Jaden Woods, that are also going to do a lot of things. But some of these new players, they're going to be counted on heavily, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Text on the Tatum Mark text line from William in Macon, Georgia, wants to know, Jason, which true freshman may make an impact in your opinion this year? And also, which transfer from the portal will make a big impact?
Oof. Oh, man, that's a tough question. I mean, we don't really see a lot of true freshmen come in, and make an impact. I'm not even really sure which way I could go. I mean, like I said, I think Amari Fountain is a 5-star. Maxwell Hiller's another guy who's a 5-star. I think Maxwell Hiller will have a chance to get on the field and play, especially with some of these guys graduating maybe the tackle position. I might throw Hiller in that mix, but, it's hard to come in. Jeff Antnote told me years ago, the closer you play to the ball, the harder it is to play as a freshman. But I think Maxwell Hiller is a special player, and under the guidance of Coach Troutwine, it wouldn't surprise me to see him have a chance to win one of the starting tackle spots as a freshman. So, maybe I'd go with a guy like Maxwell Hiller.
What about the impact? Which transfer we got out of the portal you think makes the biggest impact for the Gators this year?
We have so many, but I think I'm going to go with Eric Singleton. I really believe Singleton's going to lead the team in receptions, yards, and maybe even touchdowns. So I think the world of that guy. He's been under the tutelage of Coach Faulkner. Coach Faulkner knows him. Coach Faulkner trusts him. He has a rapport there in Philo already. So I think Eric Singleton will have the chance on offense to maybe have the biggest impact.
I'm going to ask you what everybody asks on this show. We're always, it's talking season. We're getting closer to the games, but everybody's talking about how many games can the Gators win this year? What does Jason Higdon think?
Well, they can win 12. But does Jason Higdon think they're going to win 12? No. I've looked at the schedule just like you, as many different ways as humanly possible. I think the front end of the schedule is a lot easier than the back end of the schedule. But, if you try to be objective, which as a fan, it's very hard to do. Fan is short for fanatics, right? So it's hard to be objective when you do this. But if you look at the front end of the schedule, you start out with FAU and Campbell. Boom. Nice 2-0. Florida probably outscores them by combined 100-12 maybe in the first 2 weeks. Everybody's riding high. And then what are we doing? Down to Auburn on the Plains, right? I think it's going to be a night game also. Now, Auburn's had trouble also, but Florida historically, I think we talked about this in the past. I believe they're like 8-26 and 1 on the road at Auburn. So they haven't had a lot of success there. But you have Auburn on the road, then you come back with Ole Miss, at Missouri, and South Carolina. So if we break the schedule down and look at those first 6 games, I think coming out of that with 2 road games at Auburn, at Missouri, plus I think the world of the job that they're doing down in Ole Miss, and that quarterback's dangerous, right? So I'm going to give Florida 4-2 off the first 6. Now, most Florida fans are going to say they're going to be 5-1 after 6, and I would say, hey, we won 4 out of 12 games last year. Now all of a sudden I'm going to say we're going to win 5 out of the first 6. But 4-2 probably sounds like a reasonable start. Maybe if things go well, they could be 5-1. However, then you get into the second half of the season at Texas, at Georgia, in Atlanta. I'm calling it a road game. Then you got Oklahoma. those 3 games right there are going to be tough. And then you close with Kentucky, Vandy, and Florida State. So, I think, 7-5 sounds reasonable year one. I think 8-4 is good, and anything over 8 would be fantastic. The over/under 7.5 for a reason. Vegas is $1 billion industry. So if they tell me it's 7.5, it's probably going to come down to these, winning 3 in a row, Kentucky, Vandy, and Florida State on the road to get to 8 and win the over. So I feel like 8-4 would be a good season. There's just too many unknowns right now for me at quarterback and offensive line to really buy in right now. I need to see these guys at Auburn and see what they can do. I need to see the offensive linemen open up holes for Jaden Ball. I need to see the offensive linemen give Philo time to deliver the ball to a plethora of receivers that I think the world of. If they can kind of come together up front and maybe kind of bide their time while things are coming together, I think they have a chance to be pretty good. But, Florida battered fan syndrome is a real thing, Shane. Every single year in the off season, people buy in, and they 8, 9. Last year, they were talking about 10 wins and maybe competing for the SEC championship last year. That's what people were saying in the off season. So, I tend to temper expectations a little bit more. I want to see it, and I don't care about a scrimmage. I don't care about the spring game. I've seen guys down there look like, Dan Marino in a spring game. And then when they get in the swamp and the lights come on, they look like a deer in headlights. So I need to see this team, and I don't need to see him against FAU and Campbell. I need to see him on the road at Auburn and Ole Miss and home to really get an idea of what this team looks like. But I think it's a super exciting time right now for Gator Nation. I haven't personally been this excited about a staff, the entire staff, not just the head guy, but the entire staff in a very long time. I haven't felt this way about the possibilities of what it could be since Urban Meyer was roaming around down there. I love the speed of this team. I love everything about this team. I love everything that Coach Summerall is doing right now. Now I just need to see it translate into wins. That's it.
Agree. And it's an exciting time to go join First and 10 Florida. Let them know one more time what kind of deals you got.
Yeah, firstand10florida.com right now. We have a great community. And if you're looking for a family-oriented website and, a bunch of insiders that talk, about every Florida sport, not just football, but we focus on softball and baseball and men and women's basketball, everything you could possibly imagine. Firstand10florida.com, 85% off right now for all new members that are looking for an annual membership. And yeah, come on by and check us out.
Appreciate your time, Jason. We'll talk to you soon, my man.
Thanks, Shane.
That's Jason Higdon. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. Injuries occur whenever and however, and it's never convenient. For sprains, strains, and minor fractures, UF Health Orthocare makes it convenient for you 7 days a week, including evening swing on by if you're banged up. UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. That's going to do it. Thanks to JC and Jason Higdon. He does a phenomenal job covering the Gators. Appreciate you folks joining in, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.